Okay, let's go straight in with it. Blue is the Earth. This one is the Moon. Backside of the Moon is potted quite a bit, yes?
Mm-hmm.
And then we've got the Earth, which is unusual, is an oddball in the whole solar system. Now, we also know the one Titan, is it? Titan?
Titan?
That has an atmosphere.
Yeah.
Which was a paradigm shift for the Voyager programs, yes?
Mm-hmm.
They could see that it was misty and everything else, but still. Paradigm shift meaning that it's a small moon and it has an atmosphere like Earth's, which then busts the paradigm, which makes science kind of a little bit need to regroup that how can our moon have no gases? And the answer was belief system being because it was too small.
Yeah.
But so's this one. But it has gases, has atmosphere, yes?
Mm-hmm.
The thing is, with the bigger planets, have you noticed how the moons are pretty quick to orbit?
Yeah.
I mean, it's fast, isn't it? It's like they really are hurling around that thing. Especially when you look at Jupiter's ones. I mean, 1 minute there, and especially when you get to see them move. I think Jupiter's more of a greedy bastard, to be honest. Why I want this stuff. And Earth seems to be as well. So magnetic fields. I don't know. Anyway, so let's have a look at that. And then we'll have a look at Mars, yes? So I should really draw that orange. I don't have orange, but I got red. We'll do it in reverse. And then what? Phobos and Deimos, yeah?
Yeah.
Now, the moon is a strange thing. So first off, you've got to understand how do they lose their gases, yeah?
Yeah.
And we do look at Titan, yes?
Mm-hmm.
Titan, it is Titan.
Yeah.
Its orbit's around here, so it's going to be a little bit contradictory, but still I'm going to hold it anyway. When this goes in the dark side, that atmosphere must puff down. Mm-hmm. So we can also then look at, we're going to call this one the Sun, getting confusing now. And then we've got Pluto.
Yeah.
The rest in reason seem to be a bit more... Wait, I should really draw a more circular motion around, but Pluto's trajectory is a very interesting one. It's egg-shaped, yes?
Yeah.
When it's here, atmosphere collapses down onto the planet.
Mm-hmm.
When it's here, it slightly more puffs up.
Mm-hmm.
So, this planet is more or less more vulnerable when it is here than it is when it's here.
Yeah.
A bit like the moon. The moon's phasing, yes? Goes behind the planet.
Yeah.
Let's say, and it's in the dark side.
Mm-hmm.
The atmosphere is going to chop down, yes?
Yeah.
Then its trajectory and how big it is, which I drew it way too big. So let's make it a little bit more small. If it's got a smaller atmosphere, it means that the atmosphere, when it begins to collapse down, ice age, atmosphere is collapsing down, yes?
Yeah.
There's not enough heat, whether internal or external.
Mm-hmm.
A bit of both.
Yeah.
Now, whether that is from a meteorite that's hit the star, depending on how big it is, and again, that's going to cool the star down.
Yeah.
Yeah? So there's one way, yes?
Yeah.
Meteorite hit the planet, kicked up some dust, but it seems unlikely. It seems very unlikely in that motion, but again, it's possible, I suppose. It'd be more realistic if it hits the moon, and the moon casts that very fine dust, yes?
Yeah.
You know, the astronauts said that it was getting in between their fingernails. It was so fine. It was really fine, and it really was penetrating. Could you imagine if that was thrown around the Earth?
Yeah.
And it contains regolith, yes?
What's
Beads
that?
of glass and
Yeah.
shit
Uh-huh.
and dust. And so we've got certain types of filler here, yes? It's made out of crushed glass.
Yeah.
But it's incredibly sparkly, yes?
Mm-hmm.
And what does sparkly stuff do? Well, it acts like a shade to the star.
Yeah.
So the backside of the moon is potted.
Mm-hmm.
Wherever it's in the dark side, so if we've got the sun, the star over here. And now it's going to be what? Casting into darkness because the light is being absorbed onto the planet. It would need to be here in order to start casting reflection, let's say, refraction. And it needs to be here or here in order to be seen, yes?
Yeah.
Not always. Then that means that any atmosphere that is on it is going to start crushing down,
Yeah.
look like a mini ice age, and puff up and collapse down. It will begin packing itself. So it would end up as condensed, you could say ice, you can say water, either or. Then, if a meteorite hits it here, that's going to send a lot of ice particles. If it was like this one here, which I believe it was. At one point, I think that this was much a representation of our moon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think it was, honestly. Europa is the oddball.
Yeah.
But again, if it had a bit more of an internal heat source, and the moon did have an internal heat source, because they found orange on it, therefore volcano. Volcano means that it was hot. And therefore, it cooled down. So if it did have internal heat source, plus external heat source, any ice on there. Now, we notice how wet the Earth is.
Yeah.
Shouldn't really say wet. Moist. Sounds really wrong. Anyway, so we notice how wet the Earth is, yeah?
Yeah.
It's almost like it's got ×2 worth of atmosphere on it. For how small it is, yeah?
Yeah.
And again, ice ages and different things like that. So if you hit the moon and that dust comes up, it's going to block out an awful lot of light,
Yeah.
which can trigger an ice age.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we call it an ice age, but technically all it is atmospheric gases are collapsing down. So that's it without an ice age, let's say.
Mm-hmm.
And with an ice age, the crust is going to be a lot more bigger,
Yeah.
and the atmosphere is going to be thinner.
Mm-hmm.
Snow is collapsing atmosphere.
Yeah.
So the more snow you have everywhere, that's more atmosphere collapsing down. The more atmosphere you have, then your ice and snow is going to unpack. Either or, because it's still in the mechanism. So it depends on what it is. What else is it holding? What other solids have been turned to liquid? I mean, we could trigger one if we were not careful enough. And the dust from the moon would seem to be a bit more, because the backside of the moon has been hit. It's awfully potted, right? Wasn't it? Was it Russia that did that? Viewed around Jodrell Bank, Lowell sent back the first pictures of the dark side of the moon,
Yeah.
caused an international disagreement. Anyway, either or, that data is very interesting, isn't it? And again, it's a shift, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, if you believe, because you come into it now, see the moon with no atmosphere, it becomes very hard for you to envision it with one.
Yeah.
And you could remove all of this and say, well, that's just the way it is. Because I see it this way, I believe it to be this way. But to ever believe that things change, things don't change. You live in a weather of change, change is weather. You understand that that's got a lot. And then how many moons has Jupiter actually got? Bigger question, could you imagine if it swallowed Europa? Or if a meteorite come and hit the back of Europa, and it's got all of that frozen, that's going to make ice chunks. And depending on where a meteorite hits, this would be a very fascinating experiment, would be to smack Europa just across the top and knock off a load of the ice.
Mm-hmm.
It's not close enough to the sun because it's going to be shaded. So those particles aren't going to start creating comet trails because they need the star to do it and the heat. And they need to be at a certain place closest to the sun and certain bigness in order for that heat to start working. External heat. Well, what happens if it has internal heat? Well, then it might start making a comet trail. But it depends on where it gets hit. And Jupiter's had a lot. It's had a lot of meteorites, right? It's got a lot, very big. It's on its way to making itself into a star. It is a failed star, essentially, but it doesn't mean that it will stay a failed star. If the star started pumping out and started spitting out loads of stuff, Jupiter's ready and waiting for it. Also, so is Saturn.
Mm-hmm.
You'll create a new binary system. If the sun starts hunking out massive hunks of crystal and it begins to blow off its outer shell, And Jupiter's going to take this. It's going to eat it up. And it's possible that its mass is going to get so big that it's going to start fusion. If it does start fusion, that's going to be very interesting. You'll notice Europa puff up if Europa's still about. And anyway, if you were to hit Europa, that water, that ice, is going to hit into Jupiter.
Yeah.
And it's going to give it more gas, more gas, more gas. And eventually, if you could keep feeding into Jupiter, and imagine Jupiter's getting bigger, it's not going to stay the same size. Wouldn't it be great after Levy Shoemaker 9 to add the mass up of that comet, and then add the mass up of Jupiter, which would be a nanomass? But when Levy Shoemaker 9 entered Jupiter, Jupiter got bigger. It's hard for you to understand that, though, isn't it? That every comet that comes and lands and does it, it'll either make you smaller, but if you've got a big atmosphere, it makes you bigger. Why? Because there's a lot going in. And sure, sun's coming out, but more denser object is going in. That's going to take time for Jupiter, depending on how hot its core is. I know it's very hot. It's going to take time for it to heat that up. Those little particles in there that it took seems very small, but it would have essentially cooled down Jupiter just by a fraction. Would have lost some atmosphere, but once it started making that vaporize, it's very quick when we talk about Jupiter, but if we go prehistoric Jupiter, it's very strange. It then has cooled itself down, and it's got to take X amount of time to heat up. It vaporizes that, and then that is going to unpack. So essentially, Jupiter turns solid mass into gas. Mass into gas causes a bigger atmosphere.
Yeah.
It'd take a hell of amount of cooling down to collapse Jupiter's atmosphere back down. And it might only be a fucking pebble in there. The core might not be as big as it seems. It just looks very big. No, it's gassy. Its core is probably very small. Very, very, very small. And bigger the atmosphere, perhaps it's already triggering this heat, internal heat. But it didn't always have it. It then starts aggravating the magnetic field, and the whole iron catastrophe is happening right before your very eyes. And therefore, it wants more things. It also doesn't want certain things, so it throws them away. The Frisbee effect. I think the planets are in control of what they want and what they don't want. Certain things, not yet. Go over there somewhere, I don't want it. Anyway, so when the star starts to puff up, and it will, and it begins to shed its outer layers, Jupiter is going to eat this.
Yeah.
As it eats it, it's going to get bigger, and our star is going to get smaller, and you're going to have a small, hot dwarf? What is it called? Whatever. The star's going to get very small.
Yeah.
There is a chance that Jupiter, which is Saturn, but we're making it into Jupiter now. Give you a little storm, like, there you are. And the star's going to get small, this one's going to get big, and then the little star is going to start taking off, and then you've created a binary system.
Yeah.
Interesting. Jupiter won't last very long in that, because the little one will start trying to siphon off. Very interesting, really. Very interesting, very greedy. Again, but still, even if this doesn't happen now, it can happen another way. Well, how's that? How do you get super colossal stars?
Yeah.
Well, because they fill up with a lot of shit. Could you imagine pushing all of the moons into Jupiter? What's going to happen to Jupiter? Nothing. Well, it's going to get bigger. It's going to get hotter. It's going to get cold, and then it's going to get hot. Oh, nothing happened. A century later. Wait a minute. I don't cook sausages on here. I thought our ancients said that this got cold. It's not going to do anything. Yes, because when we come into something now, we believe it. We believe that that's how it's supposed to be. That's why society works so well, right? Yeah. We come into it, and it's got to stay that way.
Yeah.
It's very hard to break that, isn't it? Isn't it very hard to break that belief system? It's nigh on impossible, right?
Yeah.
And then we look at the moon and think, nah, it's never had an atmosphere. Nah, it's too small. Nah. I think it did. I think it had quite a big one. And what's more, I think Earth took it. It works with stars, don't it? They siphon off of each other.
Yeah.
And the Earth's like, well, if you don't want it, I'm going to eat it. Because Earth wants to become a star. It's a failed star, doesn't mean that it's failed. Failure doesn't mean forever. Failure means just right now, conditions are not right for you to be a star. This one sucked it all up very quickly. Jupiter gobbled up a large amount. Most bizarre thing would happen is if you were to take some gas from Jupiter, hydrogen, and you were to come back and put it on the moon. I think this will begin to hold it. And when it gets past a certain amount, it's going to start puddling. It's going to start making liquid lakes. Then, if you add things and the internal heat source starts getting going, that's an interesting thing, isn't it? What happens with that internal heat source? I mean, all of this stuff around us that we can't see is, after all, lightning. That stuff is not hot. Lightning is freaking hot, right? The atmosphere is hot. Why? Because it grabs more sunlight. And then all of that friction. Wow, it's not quite a magnetic field, but it sort of is. And then two atmospheres brushing against each other, Earth and the moon. That's some bloody friction there. It's going to amplify it. It's going to heat it. It's going to stretch it. It's going to pull on the atmosphere. The atmosphere is going to have a response, although it seems very weak. But it's still going to respond nonetheless, a bit like tides. You want to look at atmosphere as looser water. To me, it's the same. It's just a different version of water and currents that's very similar to water currents and jet stream, Gulf Stream. They're nigh on the same. They move a lot of stuff around. This stuff jostling and banging into each other is in its own right, is causing heat. And bit by bit, unfortunately, because the moon acts like a self-defense mechanism for the Earth, I'd have things in orbit, wouldn't you? I'd like to aim things at that thing in front of me. Why? Because I might get some of that debris. And if it did have ice, and it was more ice, and it puffs up one side and then sort of collapses down and makes the ice, how many meteorites would it take, bit by bit, hitting into that to move the chunks of ice? So at the turn of the last ice age, it ran out of water. So somewhere around the ice age, the moon, our moon, no longer had enough moisture on it, and it then was kicking up dust. And then this dust triggered the ice age, the collapsing down. And would you look at that? If a meteorite then hits Earth in that state and throws a load of the shards on the moon, we can then give our atmosphere back over to the moon. But it's more likely the center one takes more. So the star must take more meteorites than the planets. But again, it can buffer these up, can't it? It can smash it into a planet or a moon, and these debris in smaller versions go into the star. Why? Well, it's more easier to take it that way. And again, essentially, the star can then begin to get bigger and bigger and bigger. What do you think happens when a meteorite hits the star? You think it just stays the same? Doesn't change it in any way? Doesn't make it cooler? Doesn't then make it get hotter? Well, of course it does. It changes it forever. Some bits get knocked out. Yeah, smaller bits get knocked out. The stuff that's probably already been pushed out towards the outer edges of the star. What's deep in it is what it's holding. That's its center. I like this stuff. It's important. The stuff around the edge, I can do without that. I can let go of small, looser particles to grab onto something that's bigger, to add to my bigness. I can make these smaller shit around me. That stuff, not so bad, but it's good for, dampering the... You think about it like a puddle when you throw a rock into it. It can take the rock, but the water pushes out. But the water level has increased. Why? It's lost some splash, but the mass has been added to it, so it's more deeper. Now if I could break that mass down, convert it into a gas, guess what I got more of? I can replace that shit, and I've now got some extra inside. Look at me, I'm getting girthy. It's a very interesting thing. So yes, if you could hit Europa, those particles that are going to come off of there, it's not going to be enough because it's too far away from the sun to even receive that energy to create that puffing effect. It's got, I reckon, it's got slight, just not enough. The atmosphere wants to stay collapsed. Not enough from Jupiter. That's my heat. But yeah, if you smack it with an object just across the top, a lot of this is going to bust off. Sure, it's going to accept something, but a lot of that water is gain for Jupiter. Technically, it's going to be on a trajectory depending on where you hit it. It's unlikely that a meteorite is going to come around Jupiter and then aim for Europa this side. It's more likely that it's going to hit it this side. And if it makes it rotate, well, I can strip that off like a piece of corn on the cob, right? That's a bit more easy to get off, is the sweet corn. Just remember to chew it correctly. Bit morbid, but funny. You know, when it rotates, that's very good. Excuse me. That's very good, right?
Yeah.
I actually choked on a quantum piece of sweet corn just then. That was interesting. Maybe it was an orb. Anyway. So if it rotates, why does it rotate? Probably for this reason. So imagine the moon having vast amounts of water on it, and was there life once on the moon? I want to say yeah. Yeah, it's seeded on Earth, and it's seeded on the moon. I'm going to guarantee it, bet it almost. You'll find more life on the moon than you will on any other planet. I'm sure of it. But because we come into it now, it's so hard to disbelieve that it's always been like that. Because we like to put things in their places, right?
Yeah.
And then it has to stay there. And then it's like the equivalent of moving a city.
Yeah.
That's how it feels. The internal brain doesn't like it because you've got to move a whole city and then rearrange it. And the brain, yeah, I don't know if I want that sort of work. Well, it's all right. The universe is doing it. Yeah, but I don't know if I want to think about that. Why can't it just be like this? And again, that's superior, inferior. That's what it is. That's what it... Because it makes you feel vulnerable, which is a good thing if used correctly, but it's also a bad thing if you're stuck in this existence. Why? Ah, shit, you mean to tell me? Oh, that's pain. Oh, fuck, that's fear, death, this, destruction, extinction. It doesn't happen to humans, right? That's what it does. So it puts you into a comfort zone that you don't want to believe anything outside of that comfort zone. But yet you're looking at the moon and thinking, oh, it's always had these potholes in it. No, it hasn't. It's always been dry. No, it hasn't. I think there are remnants of water there, and I do think that there is some sort of plant life there. Although it doesn't seem like all beautiful flowers. I think more like the green stuff, algae perhaps, who knows? Some sort of bacteria that promotes oxygen in its death. And I think bit by bit the moon had been feeding us until we reached the Ice Age.
Yeah.
Now, if it hits the moon and that creates dust, this is no different from NASA flying up with a massive shield. You know, that orbits around the planet and shades it during the bad summers, and then if we were to do that, and then what? Take 20% of the light from the sun, which is heat, and it will be absorbed into that object that's going to orbit around, casting a very big shadow on the planet. It allows some light through, but not a lot of light. Therefore, not a lot of heat. Therefore, not a lot of bombardment. This is going to cause the atmosphere to collapse down. The same way if we took a magnifying glass, series of magnifying glass. When I say magnifying glass, I'm thinking like loads of them twisted at a certain angle. And then you get the scorch pattern. So you know that with a magnifying glass, depending on how big it is, you got to angle it and you get that very small...
Yeah.
Yeah? Well, if you did it with another and aimed it here, and then another and aimed it here, do you see how the further back you go and the more of these you add, the more of a scorch mark you have?
Yeah.
And then you aim that at the planet, well, you're going to heat it up. More concentrated sunlight is going to equal more heat. More heat, well, you're going to have a bigger atmosphere. If I sat there with this in space and aimed this at Earth, how long do you reckon it would take before your oceans would boil away and convert into an atmosphere and stay puffing? They'd stay at a certain level where they got comfortable with that, which again would take the heat off the planet, which is fucking amazing, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
If you think about it, it's so clever, isn't it? The water is so clever. There's certain other gases are as well, but more so water. Just how versatile all of this stuff is, and even when we look at this one over here.
Yeah.
Where's it getting its heat from? Where's its heat source coming from? That's the question. And most of the moons towards here have geysers.
Yeah.
Again, how far away is it from Saturn? And Saturn must be pulling more, so Saturn must have a bigger internal mass than Jupiter. Io, again, we see the same thing. Again, it's close to that mass, but it's closer. Io is closer. Titan is more further away. Most of the moons are further away on this one. So therefore, the mass inside, not Jupiter, but Saturn, must be slightly bigger than Jupiter's, because the other ones have to be really close in order to get this. So therefore, it must have a smaller mass and more gas, and this one's got bigger mass, less gas. It's nigh on impossible to penetrate through it. And yet, we notice that the gas in this one doesn't quite react the same way as Jupiter's. It's very different, right? It's very violent on there. Which is quite interesting. The weather seems to be more stable when you've got less atmosphere. Like we'll say a hurricane. I don't know. What about Jupiter-sized hurricane on the Earth? I mean, I don't think that will leave much standing after that.
No.
It fucking hoover water. Oceans, in fact. I mean, it's very different, right? And it could be because it's big, or it could have a bigger atmosphere. What happens if we started heating up the Earth and made a bigger atmosphere? There's more to move, right?
Yeah.
But essentially, it makes the core is smaller.
Yeah.
Bigger atmosphere, smaller core.
Yeah.
What happens if the gas giants actually have smaller cores? Some of them have bigger cores, but appear to be gassy. Yeah, another question.
Yeah.
So it would be making a satellite that could detect mountain peaks. Let's say if it had a mountain on it, you could send down and be able to capture the beam that doesn't allow you to penetrate as much. That would indicate that there's a mountain, and then that gives you a rough idea of how big, how close the core actually is. And then in Jupiter, if you don't get the bounce back, it's very hard to penetrate it, even with the best radar. I think it's nigh on impossible. And again, if it's got a smaller, it's going to take a longer time for that signal to reach and bounce back off of something. I mean, again, if you've got the technology to do it, it probably then change your paradigm again. Shit me, this one's got a small core, this one's got a big core. But because you can't see it, it leaves mystery. Mystery then means it's got to be the same as each other. Doesn't mean that it is the same. And again, with the amount of water that's on the Earth, how big, if you calculated that, and when we talk about water, we got to understand that that's water. What happens if we can then convert the methane, and we can turn all of these liquids, so to speak, into gases? How big would our atmosphere be?
Yeah.
Would it cover the moon? Would it consume the moon? And then that means that the drop ratio then changes, right?
Yeah.
So you're in the atmosphere, yeah? And then if you stop your orbit, you fall into the atmosphere, yeah?
Yeah.
But the moon is constantly, let's say it's orbiting, yeah? What happens if Earth's atmosphere gets bigger? Does that mean that the gravity is going to extend to the moon? It's no longer traveling in space, it's traveling in atmosphere. Atmosphere then leads to bombardment, which will slow it down. This will cause it to come to a stop, and then it's got no choice but to drop. Don't you think?
Yeah.
So the only reason why things technically slow down versus space, there's not a lot pushing into it. But in the planet, there is resistance. You're hitting into that invisible stuff you say is oxygen and gases, and they're bombarding, which then slows things down. After all, when you stop, you drop.
Yeah.
That's the way it works in space, isn't it? You stop, you drop.
Mm-hmm.
Gravity's like, come here, you, come here, I get you now. Are you going this way? Are you going that way? It doesn't matter because I'm all this. You motherfucker are mine. So, yeah, again, meteorites that crash through bit by bit. They're hitting that bombardment. They must be coming in faster, hit into the Earth's atmosphere and skim out.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's just slowed down because it's what? Let's say it's not perfect because there are little particles that it's smacking into. Don't get me wrong, but there's more inside the planet. And therefore it's smacking into these and it's just slowed it down a little bit. And then it comes around again and it slows it down. Man, these planets are a bit more clever in their design than first meets the eye. Almost seems like, nah, they're dumb as shit. They don't know what they're doing. But bit by bit of bombarding asteroids, meteorites like that, plus the magnetosphere and heating it up, and I'm going to pull you apart in a bit, I swear. Not all of them. They start off very big, and bit by bit of this bombardment, it's sort of... See, this is why I look at atmospheres like water, because water erodes things.
Yeah.
Think about it. When you've got a rock at the top of a river, we put a tracking device inside it, and then we're going to send it, let it go down the river on its own. When you pick it out, fuck me, that's small. Are you sure it was that big? Yeah, we're right, there was like 1,000 tons in this, that, and the other. Well, I got the rock, but it's like, it's not even a ton, it's a pebble. That's impossible, I know. But the atmosphere is doing the same thing. It's eroding, and it seems like it's not, meteorites. And then how fast it's coming, that's even more sand blasting. But you wouldn't think the atmosphere could do that, though, would you? No. You would, first thought, it's not going to do anything. But it is. It's really smacking into that. And then it's essentially dissolving it. Yeah. Then it depends on what gases it's interacting with. How these are cooking, getting nice and hot. That heat and the weaker bits, it refines them. A bit like you refine gold in a fire, yeah? To burn off the impurities. Yeah. Technically, that's what's happening with the meteorites flying. You know, it's missing the atmosphere. It's not completely in, but it's... Then it goes on another trajectory around and... And again, because we saw it once, how long's it been doing it for? And then bit by bit, slowly but surely, and you think, oh, the comet tail that it leaves streaking across the sky. Yeah. Welcome to Earth, motherfucker. that tail, welcome to Earth. We just stripped all of that off, and there's no way I'm letting you go. Meet gravity. All of these things I got off of you, they're mine. It's stealing, essentially. And again, it's just added a bit more to the atmosphere each time it comes round, bit by bit by bit by bit. From first looking, it doesn't look like anything has happened. Yeah. But if you could weigh it, if you could weigh the atmosphere or measure the atmosphere, you'll notice that a meteorite that keeps coming around, depends on what it is, it's puffing up the atmosphere. Or it's too dense, so it's puffing up the crust. Yeah. Either or, it's still going to puff the atmosphere if it puffs the crust, because the crust gets bigger. Therefore, more bigger, more heat, more light from the star, and therefore I need to sweat more water to make a balanced atmosphere. Bit by bit. So, if the Earth kept eating meteorites over and over and over, then the moon is going to come a part of the atmosphere. I don't know how that's going to look. It's happening over such a slow time, you don't realize it. It seems every day, but every day in an environment which you're in that demands change. Doesn't want it, doesn't care whether you like it or not, it's demanding change. That's the iron fist. There's democracy whether you sit in that change or not, but it is going to have an outcome. And there are different gases that come in, different elements that come in. Well, how does that look for life? Is it beneficial, detrimental? Is it going to change things or is it not? Sure, the star does, different bursts, different activities, and when it kicks up a gear, kicks down a gear, yeah, that affects life, but also so do the meteorites. It's bringing in far away content, and it's bringing it in here. that is going to have an effect. Because it's affecting the construct, which is sociology, which is probably then going to affect the psychology, I guess, everything inside it. Then, how does this affect bacteria? How does this affect this? How does it affect that? Puffy, 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 puffy. If there was anything living on Jupiter, don't worry, they'll never be able to get out of the atmosphere. Depending on how big they were, they probably grow bigger in order to be able to take that weight, but even still, that's a hell of a spacecraft. And then there's more of a pull on it. It seems unlikely. The more smaller you are, the more easier it is. Yeah, unless you figured out there were mountains on it and they climbed up the top of there and then understood that process and then went from green giant to
Oh my god, look at me! I'm so smart now! We are the mountain people!
then they will require a lot little, aren't they? Interesting.
Yeah.
The littler you are, the more of you there is.
Yeah.
See, ants make this pretty good point. They may be small, but they're so fucking abundant, aren't they?
Yeah.
Do you reckon ants outnumber us? Per capita?
Yeah.
If you could calculate every single ant, I mean, it's fascinating to even do it with things like this. When you sit there getting it with bacteria and that, I need another brain. I can tell you, sometimes my brain wants to leave the body, right? Fuck this, I quit. You can't. You're in here now, motherfucker. More years of me, and that's how it is. I'm going to make you my bitch. No, I'm just kidding, but still, trying to calculate this stuff is like, whew. But when you start looking at it with ants, it's a little bit more easier. Who's really populating this planet? Humans? No. No.
No. Flies, ants.
Molecules.
Right.
Atoms. Fucking hell. Oh, don't. Oh, I want to quit now. I want to quit. You can't. Why not? I'm going to make you my bitch. Okay, sorry, brain. Guess we are reciprocal. Now, for that little statement, I'm going to make you calculate all of the atoms. Do we put them into different groups? Would you put the ants into different groups? No, I probably wouldn't. Well, then we're not going to be putting the atoms in different groups. Well, they are different. No, they're not. They're exactly the same. Come on. Follow the human logic. Okay. But yeah, no, there's a very interesting thing, right? And eroding slowly but surely, and there are lots of ways to erode meteorites bit by bit. Even if it just takes a few that fly by,
Yeah.
it's still blessed. I'm blessing you with these ingredients. There you are. Take off the stuff. I am now a pure meteorite. How are diamonds made? In the great big pressure of a star. I don't know. Fly by Jupiter a few times and we'll figure that out. Not everything comes from a star. Some things are in this process, which is failed stars, but it's technically not a failed star. It's a dormant star. It's a could be, it could not be. It might do, it might not. And then why did you say might do, might not? Well, it's always guaranteed to be a star. Well, why is that? Well, if our star explodes, boom, and it blows these up too, that might go off in many different directions to become a star. So technically, even I'm a star. But you were a star, but no, I could be a star. Depends on what hits the earth at what time. A little piece of me goes that way, an arm fucks off that way, an eyeball fucks off that way, asshole goes that way. I mean, and a foot goes over there. I mean, yeah, it's either going to crash into another planet, become more life, or it could be a star, or it could be a planet. What's in the center of this one? My fucking eyeball. Bit of brain goes in this one. Yeah, interesting. Fucking very interesting, isn't it? Really. Well, it's not, and it is. But yeah, no, I think the moon being a lot smaller, meaning that it's a bit more weaker in that way. And all that bombardment bit by bit, it's not chunks of ice. And the Earth's like, you're not doing anything with that. No. Good. And it's like the Earth is times 2 an atmosphere. Where did it get all this water from? I believe it was from meteorites. Okay, explain why everywhere else is dry.
Yeah.
That's a good point. That's a fucking good point. And then another thing you want to explain to me as well in this, which is really bash, is why so little water?
Yeah.
And then why so concentrated on these two here?
Mhm.
So, yeah, I'd scrutinize Europa a little bit more. Where did you two come from then? Well, see, here's the thing. We were like little Plutos at one time. Okay, I'm listening. I'm fucking listening. And then the star decided to fuck us off out the fucking... All right, and then we come trajectory towards solar system. Yeah, solar system in Milky Way. That's right. Yep. And then we were caught. We thought that was the end of it, and then bit by bit, these little stone things kept hitting us until, voila! Look at the Earth. Waste not, want not. Okay, fair enough. Recycle. Possibilities are endless. Do it with planets, and it's even more barbaric. So yeah, could you imagine that? What would you find on Europa, I wonder?
Yeah.
Incredibly salty, right?
Mhm.
And Earth, incredibly salty, but you guys are so far apart. How did you get so salty? I always thought it was whales, especially sperm whales, but more so whales. So you must have whales on there. Serious? Really? No. But still, you know, it's very incredibly salty and... And then we have, fresh water on here. That's like saying that fresh water is everywhere in the universe. No, I don't think it is. How many rivers you got again? Therefore, fresh water is precious. Well, you want to find intelligent life? Find rivers. You want to find, yeah. Come here, dolphin. Why is that? Well, we're going to see if we can get you in the atmosphere. But you need a whole lot of fucking atmosphere to keep you up in that space. Oh, that's unfair. Yeah, I know, it's trouble with land creatures. We need less pressure than you. You need our pressure and then some. Well, why is that? In order for the water to condense down in this? We put you in space and poof, I just made an atmosphere. Okay, this aquarium didn't work. Next. So yeah, you know, there's way too much salty water. So doesn't life require fresh water? And fresh water is quite rare because it's quite a fucking strange process, really. What happens if you're a water world?
And it's probably salty, isn't it?
Yeah. And then how salty is it? Because, you know, the sun's like, you're not close enough. Thank God for aliens. Why is that? Well, we were moving your planet. We were playing billiards. We had to move your planet a little bit more closer. A little bit more closer. Now it's orbiting around the star. Is that good enough? Yeah, it's sweating. It's sweating quite a bit. We also created landmass. How did you do that? Well, here's the thing. We aggravated the planet. Bit like Mars. But not enough to piss it off like Mars did and was like, no, we can't just knock the spot off. Just let it ooze. So you would then understand that there's a fine balance between the two?
Yeah.
Water world with landmass. Nice skim of landmass.
Yeah.
How are we going to keep this process going? Yeah, I know, we got some spare nature somewhere, ain't we? All right, then. Well, how's nature going to help them? Well, when it dies, you see...
Yeah.
And this was all a fluke. Cool. The creator, sit down. I mean, just... I got a good thing for you. I learned it from the humans. Oh, you did you? Yes, it's good Lady Justice. She wears a blindfold. I just gonna give you... Just don't look at this bit. It was all an accident. Do you want some earplugs as well? Might as well. I can hear you, I can feel your words. Go play some music. Drown out those words, you know? Anyway, but still, that's just a funny way of looking at it. It's not real. It is real. It could be real, but it might not be real. I'll leave you to decide whether it's real or not. But this is interesting. I fascinate over this.
Yeah.
Well, it's too small. It can't hold on to atmosphere. And a meteorite goes by with an atmosphere. Bitches! What would you do? Would you turn away all the telescopes just to make sure? All right, we're going over there. And then Paluo is very small as well. Now puff up, shrink down, puff up, shrink down, puff up, shrink down. Yeah, I don't know. Have some fun with this one. It could be wrong. Fuck it, it might be. But again, I don't know. And how could Earth be more vulnerable to lose? So if we have a meteorite come down and there's fresh ocean everywhere,
Yeah.
then the meteorite will vaporize. Not all of them do. Some explode. Some are near misses, sort of knock into it, and that pushes out a lot of stuff. There it was raining dinosaurs and everything came down from the sky. Oh, wait a minute. This one got cooked a little bit. Oh, you're drying. Fucking wonderful, man. It came in a bit too fast. The sky is falling. We've cooked dinosaur. Barbecue, anyone? No, yeah, you can have some fun with this, you know, like where something hits it and it all flies out.
Yeah.
That's one way. Yes, it's very good. I agree, yes. And this can also then go on to block out the light, even in small percentages, which would then cause more ice. If another meteorite hits after that when it's in ice, it's going to send ice chunks out. And then we've got to ask the question, the comets that we see whizzing around with the big ass tails leaking loads of water, and we'll try and catch it and then be like, it's got the same composition as Earth. Yeah, probably because it was come from the fucking Earth.
Yeah.
We got hit by a meteorite, it came to our end of the star and doosh, and it sent a load of shrapnel that way. Spent a little bit of time, you know, sightseeing the Soho. And then Jupiter was like, fuck you, and fuck you, because that's what Jupiter does in my mind with the frisbee effect. Somebody's come close to the sun, and oh my god, here comes the tail, it's coming around the star, which planet is it going to hit? Go! Straight into Mercury. Yeah. And again, the sun was probably like, you're not gonna, I'll just take it. Not all of it went in there, I'm pretty sure some fucked off this way as well, and then you're like, wait a minute, what the hell is all of this stuff here? It's like the planet over there. Which one's the oldest? I don't know. Can't tell anymore. I've just scrambled everything up. So can you really tell how old the solar system is by looking, universe, by looking in your own solar system? And then can you tell how old your solar system is by looking at the moon? Do you think so? Do you think you can tell how old it is just by looking?
Yeah. Can you?
It's just best guess so far. This one appears to be old, but until you pick up a bit of Europa and be like, this one's 10.7 billion years. So that would make the universe even older than that. Yeah, fucking senior, this one.
Yeah.
4.5, 10.6, 8.7. Now we're playing, which cup is it in? And then you've got to, just for one moon, to be able to say that that's how old everything is. It's too young, and then we could base our calculations on that, and then be like, the star's got plenty of time. It gets very dangerous. That's like one egg in one planet. So, I don't know. I don't know if I would like to rest on that. I think I would scrutinize it. I even scrutinize myself as well. So, I could be wrong. It could be right for a temporary time. but don't make it part of the furniture. It needs constantly attacking by life forms that come up in every generation. Why? Because that's healthy. That means you're still looking for the answer and haven't rested on one. You know? And that's healthy. And if it sticks, it sticks. If it doesn't, it helped to get to the next part. That's why it needs the scrutiny, you know? It definitely does. It definitely does. All things need scrutinizing, and it doesn't mean that it didn't work. It means that it helped get you from point A to point B, then from B to C, from C to D. And then all of these things are the journey. The evolutional journey, isn't it?
Yeah.
And that's where I'm cool to be wrong, because, you know, if it helps you get right, then I'm cool to be wrong. That's just the way we should be, isn't it? You know, just based on the information that you can look at now. Okay, all right. Is it different to this stuff? Yeah, it kind of is. Actually, it is a lot. A lot of it sort of threads through to that.
Yeah.
Then it poses another question. Well, if we aged the moon to be this old, then does that pose someone else to ask another question? Rather than accepting that, that means no more looking, right? The moon is that old, that's it, we don't need to look.
Yeah, we now know, and that's it. It will be in textbooks.
And then that's it, put into a textbook, that's put into a shoebox, and then shoved under a bed somewhere. It's like you pick up the whole universe in that book. Are you sure? I was thinking more like a fucking encyclopedia. Volume 1 billion. Which is beautiful to be wrong, because it's a part of the fucking journey. It's a story being told, isn't it? Or unfolding. But yeah, so when you question it this way, and then it poses other people to think, which is beautiful, they're like, hey, you know that probe we're sending over there? Yeah. Do you reckon we can age it? No, this one says the same. All right, fair enough. But what about this? Okay, this one's old. Now that poses now two thoughts on that. Is this a wanderer, or is this the age? Did the universe, no, solar system, capture this object from the universe? It got hurtled out somehow, and it captured the orbit.
Yeah.
Or is this actually the age? Well, we've never seen a planet go rogue before, but doesn't mean that they're not. I'm pretty sure galaxy mergers are not a pretty thing. And where it's most a beautiful little dance, I think some moons get harmed in the making of this galaxy.
Yeah.
I think some planets also do as well. I think some stars, but by and large, it's a lot more of an intricate dance than it appears to be. But a few star systems get harmed in the making of this galaxy. As opposed to, no stars were harmed in the making of this galaxy, you know? It's like, I don't know. It seems nice, but... You mean to tell me that no animals were harmed in the making of that fucking movie? No, none at all. You were using explosives, yeah? What about the worms? Right, yeah, I don't know, it's just kind of weird. Yeah. How many did you walk on? The last time I checked, this planet was so infested with life, I couldn't even move through the woods without being like, sorry, I'm sorry. My shipmate can't even climb a tree these days without... It seems passive-aggressive, but I am sorry. Couldn't even eat some fucking veg. Or some fucking, what is it, blackberries and stuff.
Yeah.
That tasted a bit funny, and then you dissect it. Ooh. Whoops. Guess it's protein now.
Yeah, it is.
And how many of you ate fish and chips on set? Well, I did. And you had the right to put the disclaimer up that no animals were harmed in the making of this movie. How many did you consume? Well, this many. Yeah, but it sounded a lot better than saying, apart from the fish and chips, apart from the hot dogs and the beef steak that we had, fuck me, man, how much jam you got? Anyway, just, yeah, by and large, I understand that. Intentionally, I suppose, but there again, you walked somewhere and that was fucking intentional. How many did you squish? I can't even walk across pavement these days when it rains without hearing. Yeah, just made a slug. Speaking of hermaphrodites. So yeah, I don't know. I'm going to look at it a bit more like this. And that's where I think the moon, and that's why it's so plotted towards the back than the front. It's still hit at the front, but yeah, what rotation is that? And some of those objects hit it quite colossally, and then bit by bit of this, that's going to make the inner planet cool down a bit, because I think that there's a lot of friction on the planet. Although we don't really see it, do we?
No.
We don't experience it. We only see it when it's like overloaded, and we say thunderstorm, right? And then the sun, it's got to be pushing out stuff into us.
Yeah.
And that's got to be bombarding with the particles, or even if it's getting them warm, it's going to make them maneuver and bump around. That's heat.
Yeah.
And then the bigger it is, that's more heat. Good luck collapsing an atmosphere on that. I suppose the only way you'd really know is if you covered the star for a bit. Oh, look at that, we just made an ice age. Oh, fucking hell, we could freeze the Thames. This is much more cheaper than trying to fucking frost mountains. You do it naturally. You know, you'd have these cold spots sitting somewhere, but equally too, you would also need to add hot spots, because those cold spots can run away. That's amazing, that, isn't it? Could you imagine that? Rather than using street lights, you just use polka dots that sit in the sky, which we would have to say space. We'll sort of aim their beams down across the cities and see it glowing using like the same process of what the moon is doing. Reflecting it. Interesting, very interesting, but still, yeah, that's where I'm hitting with that. That's where I'm going to sit with that. I'm going to settle on that. And it's cool to be wrong, and it's cool to be, you know, as long as it gets you thinking. That's what it's about. And I like thinking, even if it's already been thought. Because I think it's healthy to revisit and re-go over things, because, you know, might have been missed the first time. Perhaps we've settled on something. And then that's not true science, is it? Oh, you think you know everything, don't you? Well, not as much as your textbooks, but, you know, fuck it. Yes, the world is comfortable in that niche. So yeah, no, I think the best part of finding life would be on the moon. And that's assuming that it's sweat. So sea creatures, maybe? Yeah, maybe, possibly. And then how salty? And then the moon of Mars. That's interesting. Very interesting as well. Phobos and Deimos. Not enough to create that stretch and squeeze. Still got atmosphere, but yeah, it's still got friction, just not as much. And there again, slowly but surely, it's leaching, isn't it? And then how much has it been hit over the lifetime? And again, you wouldn't know because the sand is constantly moving. So, you know, if you go to the Sahara Desert and make a massive impact crater, how long will it take in a sandstorm before that is no longer seen?
Yeah, not very long.
So bit by bit. So Mars. And then with that sand, how much of that is attracting heat? Like little mini magnifying glasses, right? And does hydrogen collapse back down on itself? And then the carbon. What's all that about? There seems a lot of carbon, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Oh well. Carbon seems to be quite the abundant one, doesn't it? And then oxygen seems to be quite a rarity, doesn't it? And fresh water seems to be quite rare.
Yeah.
So do you think life would only rise up on the planet, or do you think that there are other life forms that have adapted on other worlds? Yeah, I think it would. And the reason why I
think they
say that
adapted.
is because there will be different processes going off.
Mhm.
And life's quite tenacious, isn't it? It adapts.
Yeah.
Factor in this essence of evolution.
Mhm.
And then how well is evolution, do you think? In the cartilage that we have, cartilage. I always believe that that is a type of bone, isn't it?
Yeah.
Seems to be a type of. Somewhere in between.
Yeah, I guess.
Can you imagine going to space and turning it into something that's cartilage? And how good would that be in times of inertia? And organs being made of that. Maybe not here, but again, it's that knowing, isn't it? It starts to get to work straight away on the bone. Where did it learn that from? How does it know that? Do you understand? There's that knowing. There's knowing there. Or did it come from there? See, it poses two questions, doesn't it? An either or. That draws a line between a lot of things, doesn't it? While you're sitting in the womb, you can explain it away by evolution and different things like that. But how did it know the atmosphere? How did it know the pressure? How did it know that you needed this? How did it know salt? How did it know fresh water? Who taught it? Who taught it to know that? Well, it experienced it and then evolved to it. That gets you a certain way. But then looking back after this, go into space, and then what? It starts to diminish your bone. So it activates and says, this is junk. And therefore, in order for it to do that, it must have another plan in the making. And it gets to work pretty much straight away, doesn't it? How does it know to do that? Well, it's evolving, is it? In real time? Bloody hell. It's almost like something else is walking it through the... And then you could say it's evolution, but then what taught evolution? And I think the better question is, who taught it? Who is in control of that?
Yeah.
Now, does that not make a sort of... And then you've got evolution that's in stars, that's in planets. I mean, that's interesting. Who told that? Who taught it?
Yeah.
And then what? It's all because of a fluke, yes? Like it's one big accident that happened and... It seems too... knowing. In order to create a life form that lives in this format here, has taken a lot of evolution on things that must have been around before the vessels that you walk in were around,
Yeah.
and had a plan.
Mhm.
And why do I think it's a plan? We go to space. And it gets on with what it needs to do in order to make. And you'll say, well, that's just evolution. That's such a very small label for the process that seems to be happening, doesn't it? Do you get what I'm saying with that? I'm probably not making a lot of sense, but a lot of stuff is coming in at the same time. So, yeah, I'm moving off onto something else, I think. But all of this semantics that happen, without any of that, what do you need to make a human? Another human? That's good, Frank. I like it. But no, you need all of this stuff. Heating, cooling, nuclear thermos. Could we say that? Nuclear radiation, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You need pressure. Land mass, not too much. Salt water that then converts into fresh water. Just the right amount of pressure, not too much, not too little. Just, oh, yes, that's a very nice taste. And it starts developing the mind. Nice. Wouldn't it be nice to be evolution? Well, you would know a fucking lot, wouldn't you? Shit me, it's everywhere, right? Ooh. Walks with stars and you. Well, bloody hell. Works with the animals, the planet, the solar system. I mean, wow. That's a lot of knowing. Too much knowing to be coincidental. So it must be able to perceive itself. You know, Grandma, yeah, she would sit there and knit me a frickin' jumper, right?
Yeah.
For when I was a baba.
Mm-hmm.
And then starts knitting me one for when I'm going to be like fucking 20.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of knowing, but that's because she's witnessed it.
Mm-hmm.
While I'm knitting you here in the ocean, I'm going to knit you here in the land. While I'm knitting now, I might as well knit the water into fresh. While I'm there, just in case you ever go to space, I'm going to knit this as well. Well, fucking hell, that's been encoded into you, isn't it? Oh. Oof. How did you know that? You didn't have any eyes. I can't see you. Where are you? I can see your effects, but I can't see you directly. Where are you? What are you? Yeah, wait, who are you? How are you that calculated? And therefore, it's got a plan. And it's only beckoning the little fish in the bowl to go, you want to follow this plan? So I go into space and things start happening and... Why don't you just give me the answers? It sort of shapes us, doesn't it? It sort of moves us. You ever want to know which direction to go? Well, you could follow that, couldn't you, and find out. And then you would say, what if it takes me in the wrong direction? I don't think it is. You see how many stars it's doing? And look at that, it's doing so many things at once. And that's what? Coincidence? That's a fluke? That's accidental? It's alright, you can take your blindfold off now. Your earplugs? There you are. You can turn the music down too. That's a lot of knowing. What does it ask for in return? That's interesting. That you trust it, follow it. Where's it leading us? More to the point, why is it leading us? Why would it lead you to destruction when it could already do that, couldn't it? But it's almost trying to stitch us away from, knit us away from destruction. Mm-hmm. And then it's iron fist in some things, but it's also democratic in others. Well, it's up to you. You can stay here, or you're going to stop knitting? Nah. And that the stars follow it in faith, and they know that they're going to die. Do they? And it still has massive amount of faith in this, yeah? To go this way. You could say it's knitting you towards destruction. That's in the small scale, but what's going on the big scale? The shit you can't see. And most things just follow it. The whole universe, right, is following this path. What does it know that you don't? What does it have faith in? Blind, but still it's got faith. Evolving. Fearless. That's interesting. Iron fist in one hand, democracy in the other. I'm like, fucking hell, man. How do you balance that, you know? You need to stick a leg out, might as well balance that too. It's leading, and it has this knowing. To be able to knit you into a vessel that can survive space. To make it more easier for you. Wow. How did you know that? If it was truly evolution, right, and it was all this sort of adapting and everything else, then in order for it to be able to make you something that's going to be a habitat, humans have to go up to space and experience it and get a lot of things wrong first, yes?
Yeah.
This thing doesn't seem to be acting that way. It seems to have walked this path before. And does it get its knowledge from vessels that go and vessels that don't?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. Very interesting. Very interesting indeed. And the whole filtering system on the planet? I mean, minus what we see now, it was very hard for us to go back into the past, right? And understand what balance really is. The ancients seem to know it very well. This whole everything hangs in the balance, and they seem to understand it a lot more than we do today. What's the difference? But they definitely understood it. Things hang in a balance. And it seemed to have done it very nice. Made a bed cradle for humanity. So it seemed to know what you want, what you need in order to achieve something. And it's been making these constructs around you to help you move forwards, which then helps all of that move forwards too, because selfless. It knows how to make the prophecy not too much, not too little, back and forth, clean the water this way, sweat it this way, do this way. What rises up goes in the ground. This eats what goes in the ground. You eat what comes from the ground. I mean, that. While I got you doing this, I'm going to be figuring out space. Yeah, I reckon they need something. Yeah, perhaps these bones. Not bones. Okay, all right. What next? Oof. See, we have to go there and figure it out, right? You got to just go there and grab this. Okay, well, that didn't work. Let's take a piece of this stuff. Put them in there. All right, that works. Yeah, in the meantime, something else is like, no, I already know what you need. Then it starts to level up your minds, starts to give you things, starts to create things through you. Yes, it's part this, and it is part you. But you come together. Oh, I thought it was making it for me to have an easy life. No, I don't know if it's doing it for that reason. Because what made humans want to make computers? You would have an answer for it, wouldn't you? You would know exactly why you made that. Why did you make it? Why did you make clothing? Why did you make houses? Why have you done anything that you have done?
Clothing would be for warmth, maybe.
For warmth.
Yeah.
So what is for warmth is a very basic statement. Yes, for warmth, but the overall reason as to why you do it.
Overall.
Well, to make life a little bit more comfortable, yes?
Yeah.
And is it to make life comfortable for you, or is it to make life comfortable for next generations? Well, it has a purpose of two then, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Is it teaching you about habitation? I mean, compared to animals, why does it do this with you? Why do you feel the need to make computers, technologies, figure out fuel, rockets and space, and not animals?
Because you have something they don't, I don't know.
Because you have a purpose.
Yeah.
And then we're following this invisible force that we've spent a very long time shutting out, by the way. How many thousands of years has it been tried to be shut out? Most of the ancients were trying to figure this out. They learnt it. They figured it. They saw it. And then it set the narrative for the stage that we walk on now. That's what pushed it. It was the ancients. They figured this out and then started to try and align towards it. And then all of a sudden, vanished that. You know, if it was meant for this structure, don't you think it would have stopped the evolution of everything else? But it didn't. Everything is still evolving around us, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
So clearly it isn't that answer then, is it?
No.
If we actually pay attention to it. And then it taught us to understand the balances. You know, if the ancients didn't do this stuff, if they didn't figure this out, if they didn't look at it, if they weren't inquisitive, then they were following something and they knew it. Now it's been shut out. Looks like Lady Justice has been handing out blindfolds. And something has been making you do things and you can't answer why you've done it. Why'd you make computers? Was that truly what humans wanted to do? I don't think it is. Farming. Well, you didn't have to. You could have stayed living like animals, collect what you need and fly back to your nest. Whoopie whoop. Yeah, at the moment, we seem to be humanity acting like animals, don't we? But not in the sense of acting like animals where animals fight. That's a very negative understanding of animals. Animals aren't all like that. They're not all and with each other. They're quite playful. They're quite free. No, it's acting like animals where we always compare ourselves to animals. Well, you got that right. We are sitting on the fence. We think that we're animals. Make this, achieve this, sit like this. Yeah, that's an animalistic approach, isn't it? But we claim that we're not animals. What are you saying when you say you're not animals? What are we really saying? We have ability to do something about our fate, but we don't do it blindly. We follow something. It seems invisible. I reckon it was more visible back then, and it was more respected. It wasn't tamed, it was learned, it was observed, it was understood. This invisible force. And then what did we label that as? Aliens? What did we label it as? God? Did we label it as anything else? You can label it whatever you want. It works just as well. Really, it sounds better than saying, I don't know. Doesn't it? Something invisible. Oh, that's too scary. That force. And then maybe it begins to slow down a little bit because, you reach the plateau. And then the more you get curious about this thing, and I think that then it starts to lead you away from human complacency. And could that be a reason as to why it's been shut down? Because it has. It's been hidden, shut down, misinterpreted. It's been replaced, dominated, controlled, bottled.
Mhm.
And the ancients saw something more. And I think that's really about those gifts, isn't it? That, yeah, you may have gifts in you, but again, I think it begins to wipe it out. Because aren't we all manifesting that we want to be like animals?
Are we?
Waiting for the savior when we are the savior. And then what, we fear-base all of this stuff as well, don't we? We fear-base it. Fear the unknown, fear this, fear that, fear this, fear, 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 fear. Why? Because it stops you from engaging with it. Make it scary, make it evil, make it this, make the unknown scary. And the ancients were more like, I got nothing to lose. Everyone was saying that, and it sounds like we've got nothing to lose. Like, what is this stuff? They were more brave to follow this force. And what did they have that is missing now? That made them more moxie to follow it, and today it's being fizzled out. That's weird. It's very strange, to be honest. And there again, it didn't do it for animals. Why? Because we can take animals. Is that possible? We can take the water. We could convert the whole planet. Convert that. We can make the planet last for as long as we live. Did you know that?
Yeah.
Couldn't we? If we transformed it into a more stable terror, we could take it. Again, terror, 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 terror. Associated with a lot of negativity, right?
Is it?
Terror.
Terror.
We have to change it to Gaia because it takes away terror. Because the word elicits a response because of terrorism, and you can keep going with this. A lot of these words formulate into the scaredness. Scared. Terraforming. I mean, it's meant to elicit a response. That's terrifying. Applied to emotion of fear, which it is. Well, how did God strike fear in you? It wasn't God that struck fear in you. It was a few people that followed this invisible force, give it a name, and then started burning people.
Yeah.
Then started hammering people to stakes. Then started killing people.
Yeah.
And what did that create? Terror. Fear. That if you spoke out against this, submit. And then it's transformed into the establishments that we've got today.
Yeah.
You notice how effective that was, and then decided to adapt and adopt it into, if you speak out against us, you might disappear. There'll be consequence. Because what did it do? It made you compliant. What did it make you compliant to? A few people that were trying to understand this, and you had no right. Because you were not worthy. Why? Because we saw what happened with the ancients, man. And when they all come together, look at what they did. Look at what they built. But it was slavery, it was this, it was that. That sounds like projection to me. No, that's modern time. What do you mean to tell me that you took that? And we're supposed to be better than that? It's funny, you admit this, admit that, admit this, but added this, amplified that, and amplified this. Then say that they did that. What, then it makes it okay for you to do it? And then say that we've come a long way since then? Swings and fucking roundabouts, my friend.
Yeah.
It's just one way to look at things. It's one way to ask the question. Have we all become trapped in this motion because we've inherited this stuff? And we believe that it's okay to be this way. And we're trapped in that paradigm. Do we want to be trapped in that paradigm? That's the question. Do we truly deep down want to be trapped in this? Is it a question that we're ever allowed to ask? Is anyone allowed to ask it? Anywhere? Does anyone anywhere ask that? Or do we just play the roles that have been assigned to all of us? Because we've been trapped in this, and that's what forced obedience looks like. And then if we start talking in a certain type of way about this stuff, we're shut down immediately. Why? Well, that's very eerily similar. Then that means the stuff that you've said, A, isn't true, and B, you want control, which is forced obedience. And what does forced obedience look like? Is it profitable? Yes. Does it keep the structures? Yes. Is that why space then gets limited? Because those structures just do not work? Or is that a fear? And then a fear response is more important than a survival one, than a progression, than growing, than learning, than education. All of the things that we say we are. But if you can't question it, then no, that isn't. Because there's this. What's this? Seems to be more educated. Seems to be more within the know. And it's free. It's free to each and every single one of us to learn it. And do you ever think that it takes only a few to unlock this in other people selflessly? What does it do to the population? For a reason for this to have been shut out and this much energy and effort to shrink it all the way down into nothing. Means that it must have been widespread. And a lot of resources have gone in, a lot of effort, a lot of energy, a lot of time, a lot of fear has gone into shrinking it into nothing. A lot of fakery. Yeah, kind of weird. Find it weird. I do find that weird. I find that fucking strange. And then, is that a sign of selling your soul? Well, selling your soul is not going and fucking making a blood oath over some fucking numbers sixes. No, I think it's this. Sin is to do this, this, and this. No, I think it's this. You were given an opportunity and you squandered it. Wait, this is an opportunity, and I don't intend to. And then another way to fear it out, what? get on the verge where it all falls down, what's going to happen in the future? Be no religion, and then this gets labeled as craziness. Well, so Warren doesn't sit there swinging the keys around the fingers. And I got to ask then, is that then forcing it to only go to a certain group of people? That was the plan, wasn't it? Like, backfired, didn't it? That it would only then go to these people, and it didn't. Then it teaches it to be cautious, right? It seems to be cautious, very cautious. But what it offers in return is beautiful. If it was looking for obedience, it'd make it. But it isn't. It liberated the ancients. It's done nothing but liberate. The whole way through humanity's, the fingerprint of liberation is there. Freedom. It's been teaching to disobey. Well, the old paradigm had to die in order for the new one to be created, right? Of being animalistic, of being this, this, and this. That had to die, and this, and then something else had to die, and then this, and then something else had to die, and then this. Rebirth, transformation, formation, I guess. And each time, it's freeing. Look at what it's taught over that time. Look at it. It's fucking beautiful. It's powerful, isn't it? And with it being that calculated, it's very patient. It's also very calculated. Its ability to calculate and foresee. I don't think it's going to let this go. And how do you not know it's not readying the stage? Do you ever think that it does? Do you have faith in it? It's hard to understand it, isn't it? But do you think that I've got faith in it? I think it knows best. It knows what it's doing. Mm-hmm. Mere illusions inside an illusion, right? Do you think it gives warning? I don't know. I think it's fair. And then it erupts. And then you see a new existence. Look at how many empires has flattened because of the gripping it. Look at how many held on so tightly onto their narrative being the best way. And look how many times it's won. It's flattened big empires throughout history, every single time. So if you wanted a test, each one swore it was more powerful than the last. And again, that's an illusion, right? You think that everything now is so powerful, right? Do you think that they were walking around back in the day thinking that theirs was so weak? Oh God, our empire is so weak. No, they all had the same. Did you remember what always crossed over? All of the stuff that was learned. The knowledge. Look at it, it carried into today. Who's really slaving who? Because if it breaks, that's liberation. Anyway, if you just ask the questions out there and every single one has tried to take it over at some point or another, never starts out that way. Yeah, I got faith. Not blind, no. I believe in it. Don't you? It's hard to explain it because you're so shut out from it, aren't you? And maybe I'm awoken to it. I don't know. Whatever. I nearly died. I can't ignore what happened. I can't ignore that. It's almost like it was part of the process. It needed to happen that way in order for things to It's a shame it had to get to that before that happened, but yeah. Well, it was just you, so some psychologists say. No. No. Again, that's swallowing all of that credit. No. No, no, no. That is something beyond. Lived experience and again a third person perspective and bedtime story and all the rest of it. No. No, I can't accept it. It's too much. And to take credit for all of that, my word, fucking hell, how big do you want my head to get? Fucking hell. Take credit for that? Well, then that means that I predicted reality? No. Not like that. No way. Somehow I activated something that activated in other people. I just. The odds were truly against me. But again, maybe it was a part of the process in order to reach something else and then reach something else. Every time I look into it, man, it's more comes. Yeah, it leans back. Oh, I'm here and yes, that exactly. Funny, your body language, you look straight at it, but you don't know what you were looking at. You'll say that something caught your eye, I'm going to imagine. Ah, you signaled towards it when I said it, so a part of you knows something, but you're not aware of that. That was a very strange response. Interesting. Very interesting. Yeah, the sitting back. Interesting. Very good. Very good. Anyway, yeah, I'm going to leave this here because if not, it will get a little special. And sometimes I want to dive into it. Nah, not right now. I will, but just not yet. So yeah, no, it's a wonderful thing. And no, I'm not neither criticizing nor bigging up. I'm just looking at it in a very different way to see things. That's all. It's And again, certain parts of the story have been twisted, deliberately maybe, not by individuals in certain areas, but if you twist it and then give it back to them, that becomes to hold them over a barrel. Do you get how infiltration works? This is an old thing. To infiltrate into a book somewhere, deliberately. And then it becomes a part of it, and then it starts looking a little bit on shaky grounds now. If we fall, you will fall. That's how it is. I'm pretty sure the ones back in the past have done the very same thing. Because it traps you into everything is correct, where you can't question anything, because everything is so right. And when people believe that everything in life is right, everything that's ever been done is correct. Power relies on it. Why? Well, you got that wrong. Why should I listen to anything? You see, this is why authenticity is so important. And also, to be realistic, we get things wrong. Yeah, oh, fair enough. Well, suppose if you built yourself up on being right, what happens when you get something wrong? You fall. And then what is it designed to do? Break you, you cower off and never show your face again, right? Mm-hmm. Oh no, it's so shameful being wrong. No, it isn't. No, it isn't. Oh, fucking hell, man. Look at Edison. Tesla. There's many others. Take your pick. Here, Edison, you got all this wrong, my friend. I think you should stop. It's nice, refreshing that back in the day it didn't matter if you got things wrong, really, as much as now. But now everything's so built on this righteousness. And it feels so shameful, doesn't it? People do feel shameful, don't they? What a sad world, really, isn't it? Who cares? Well, no shit. Striving for perfection means that you can be wrong and get things wrong. Then it knocks you down. You get back up again, though, don't you? Adjust your course and off you go. I think that's why captains used to go down with their ships, wasn't it? Because the embarrassment would absolutely cripple them to come back and say, "Where's the ship?" I kind of pranged it. Do you mean to tell me that you crashed it in rocks? What kind of a sailor are you? Rather than that humiliation, they'd rather die with their vessel. Yes, it's true. People used to walk into the noose because of it. That shame, that embarrassment, cowardice. You get what I mean? The people used to fear being called a coward and accept a noose round the neck even if the people that were going against them were incorrect. They got it wrong. It wasn't right. People were believing something. How many people have died because people believed it, although it wasn't true? See how powerful that is?
Yeah.
I don't know, being called a coward is far worse. Maybe one day God will have mercy on my soul. It's fucking ridiculous, isn't it? About that righteousness and... See, I told you he was right. He is a coward. And the crowd cheers and... Bloody hell, man, that's ridiculous, mate. And that's where we're at today, isn't it? You can't get things wrong, because... If you do, you're no worthy for this. You can't come here. You must disappear over there. And in this process of creating that, guess what they've created? A freaking prison. For themselves. How are you fucking out? You didn't see that one coming then? This would be perfect and powerful and all of this, and it never bows or does this or... Yeah, about that. That's a bit weird, isn't it? Bit weird. Self-righteous, I don't know if I like it. Spent a whole lifetime being told I'm wrong, thick as shit, and all the rest of it. Yeah, oh well. Shit happens, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But do you stay there? No? Or can you adjust?
Yeah, you can adjust.
Some people will tell you you're getting things wrong, even though you're getting them right, so that then you adjust to getting things wrong.
Yeah.
And then you appear right to a societal perspective, and then it rises you up, and then this becomes leverage. Do you know how?
Oh.
Yeah, you better start doing this. If not, look, we found this error in what you were saying. Well, I was saying that. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Look at what all these people now believe about you. They won't be gentle. So, chin chin, my friend, and shuffle over and read this for me. That first time, you sweat with it. Pride, think of this, think of that, and then what do? You reason with it. First time the hardest, second time gets easier, third time, fucking hell, you're walking now, aren't you? That's control. You can be controlled this way. It's a fucking... it's incredible, mate. It is absolutely incredible. And then boister up pride. And what it's really saying in that scenario is we're all in this together. You fall, I fall, and we all fall. You know, so if people start building their decks on cards, and know it, it keeps people in line. Well, I'll expose you then. Yeah, if you do that, you better think about it. That knocks us all down. Yeah, I suppose. Fucking hell. That's you and all. They'll come for you too. You know, this works in. This is not just with certain groups. You know. Oh, I gotta go to the cops, man. This is really, you know, it's really. Yeah, but if they come for me, they're gonna come for you too. And most people try and say in movies that's, you know, the person had a sudden change of heart and then went to. That never happens in real life. I mean, in a movie it will, but it makes it. Oh, it gives me so much hope. That doesn't happen in real life. Come on. So that makes you hesitant to who gets around you, yes? Mm-hmm. Live wire. Oh, shit, fuck. It'll make me look stupid, fuck. And that makes recklessness, because they'd rather die than experience that. Meteorite comes and wipes everybody out, right? And it's like this. Die with that pride or die with those secrets, right? Then admit that you were wrong. Then admit that you are a coward. It's what makes you walk into nooses, right? Weird fucking world. Anyway, right, I'm gonna leave it there because I went really somber, and I must admit, but that's just the way things are. And then you gotta question it, and then if you do question it, but you're not allowed to question shit, now all of a sudden I am questioning shit. But yeah, so anyway, yeah, let's leave this one out. But you know, it does zonk down, and it does, but it can also elevate you. When they say it's always dark before the dawn. Yeah. And then the others are like, yes, it's always light before the dark. And some movies also say this as well. Turn light into dark. Turn light into dark. Certain things. Man, fuck that. Don't you mean turn dark into light? Yeah, that's why I always used to switch it round when hearing that. If I ever hear that, I'm like, yeah, fuck that. Pick a side, walk in the middle. Pick a side, walk in the middle. Yeah, it's weird one. Anyway, right, let's leave it there. This has been good. It's been great.